Hey everybody, thank you so much for clicking on this video. So today we are bringing on another special guest and we are going to be talking about an honest approach to fitness, which is something that is very intriguing to me. I talk a lot about fitness marketing on this channel and how that can impact us. So we have a special guest today. I'm going to turn it over to our guest.
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, why don't you introduce yourself to everyone?
Yeah, so I'm Miriam. I am a personal trainer. I've worked in the fitness industry for going on a decade now. I am a personal trainer. I am also a content creator and I run my own business. So I have my own business called MF Strong. MF Strong is a coalition of trainers. We work outside of New York City and we also train clients all across the globe. So we work virtually as well. And MF Strong, what makes us a little bit different than other personal trainers here in New York and everywhere really, is that our approach is fitness without the diet culture. So we really focus on working with clients to feel empowered and get educated and doing it with through a way without guilt or shame, and giving our clients kind of a focus on fitness that has nothing to do with aesthetics or weight loss, and really instead focuses on all of the many other wonderful benefits of exercise.
So in terms of, your approach to fitness, getting rid of the diet culture, and I love on your site and on social media, it's like an honest approach to fitness. Tell me a little bit more about what that means to you, like being honest in this industry.
Well, you know, as well as I do, working in this industry, how much of it, especially within the marketing and the way that, group fitness and personal trainers kind of promote their businesses. So much of it revolves around sort of like gimmicks and fads and whatever is sort of like hot in the moment. And oftentimes those fads and gimmicks aren't necessarily truthful. They kind of are focusing on pain points and really like getting people to feel badly about themselves in order to get them into the room. So our approach is sort of the antithesis of that. We do it without the gimmicks. We want to be truly honest with our clients about what they're getting. And sometimes that means focusing on things that aren't as sexy, things like longevity, sustainability, rest, taking rest, focusing on sort of the basics and the foundational movement patterns. Those things that, they might not be as, clickable, but they're what most people really need. So yeah, that's kind of how I see our sort of honest approach.
Okay, what would you say like the biggest that you're seeing? What's like the trendy aesthetic goal right now? Like I know for a long time it was like get rid of your hip dips or, insert literally anything else. What do you see the most of right now?
The one I see that's really popular is the snatched waist. Yeah, we're all about the snatched waist, and I feel like we're circling back around to sort of like the long lean lines and the sort of Pilates dancer body aesthetic, whatever that means. And I see a lot of people leaning into that with their marketing. So that's one that really grinds my gears. I'm sure it bothers you as well.
Yeah, I think I did like a whole video already on what a snatched waist even, what does that mean? Because so many people will argue, they'll be like, oh, well, I meant it's a way to get your abs stronger. And I'm like, well, that's not what people think though.
Right.
Like when you see the word snatched, like what does that mean?
I think what bothers me about that specific type of marketing is that oftentimes the people creating it, they know better. Like they know that spot reduction isn't a thing, but they also know that people are looking to spot reduce and they lean into that and then they'll sort of backtrack later and be like, no, that's not what I was saying. But it's like, no, you knew, you know.
People are smarter than people give other people credit for. Yes. People know what they're doing.
Yes. Because when they're called out for it, they're immediately backtracking and they're like, yeah, no, that's not what I'm saying. Like, of course you can't spot reduce.
Oh,
like,
100%.
Well, then why did you make a video around spot reduction?
Because they got to get those clicks.
Exactly.
They got to get the views and get people to pay them.
Yeah.
So there's all these gimmicks in fitness marketing, and we just talked about like the snatched waist and everything. And I would say the number one goal that we've seen years and years and years for people is typically something to do with weight loss. And I feel like there has been a big shift in the industry where, weight loss isn't necessarily always the goal, which I think is fantastic, right? But I think that sometimes when the pendulum swings one way, it swings way too far. And now I think there's also just kind of this black and white we're seeing of like, well, weight loss is bad, right? It was weight loss is good, now weight loss is bad. So I do see a lot of content where it's just like weight loss is demonized. And I would love to hear someone who does kind of stay away from the diet culture stuff. Like what are your thoughts on that? And then how do you implement that with your business?
This is such an important topic because, as you mentioned, like I mean, I've been working in this industry for 10 years. I've seen the pendulum swing one way and I've seen it swing the other. And my own thoughts have shifted many, many times on this topic. I don't consider myself anti-weight loss. I prefer the term weight neutral. And the way that I sort of like approach it with clients is that I always want to validate clients' feelings. I want to validate clients' goals. And at the end of the day, we do live in a society that rewards people who live in smaller bodies. So I don't blame anyone for wanting to lose weight. And I think demonizing someone or making someone feel bad about that isn't necessarily the right pathway. And especially because at the end of the day, I do live in a very privileged body. It feels very hypocritical for me to tell someone like, you shouldn't desire weight loss. That doesn't feel right to me. I understand that people are gonna wanna lose weight and I don't want anyone to feel badly about that. I can only change kind of how I approach that with clients and how I work through that with clients. So while I always want them to feel validated in those goals and that like they're not wrong for wanting that, I do also want to approach it from a way that's not gonna be focused on the numbers and not gonna hyperfixate on like scale weight or like what they see when they look in the mirror. So I feel that the best approach to do that is to just focus on other measures of progress. So really looking at like performance-based measures of progress or just more simple like day-to-day measures. I think it's also really important to delve deeper. I think as trainers and coaches, it's sort of our job to delve a little deeper. So when a client comes in and they say like, I want to lose X amount of pounds, it's usually not just about the weight loss, right? There's always something else, some other result that they're seeking. So I always take that and then try and delve a little further into, okay, what are you seeking to feel with that weight loss? What are the results that you're seeking? And oftentimes, you know, it's not just the weight loss, but it's, I want to feel more confident in my body. I want to feel more strong and capable in my day-to-day life. I want to, you know, I want to create sustainable, healthy habits that I can fall back on. You know, I want to run through the park with my kids and not be out of breath, you know? Yep. And those are great results that we can actually seek out in the work we do together. And those are the things that I'm going to be focused on, not the weight loss, but I'm not going to make them feel bad about desiring the weight loss. I'm just going to sort of shift the focus and shift the conversation to things that I feel are going to be more beneficial and a better use of our time together.
100%. I feel like whenever I ask somebody about a weight loss goal or just like prod a little further, it's not about the number on the scale. Yep. Very rarely is it like, I need to weigh 137 pounds.
Right, because what does that mean? What do you think you're gonna feel when you weigh 137 pounds? What are you looking to feel? And yeah, it's like, it's so often like they know what they want. They want to feel like, oh, like I'm not out of breath. I feel really good in my body. You know, I feel confident. I feel like I feel healthy, you know? Yep. And those things really at the end of the day, they don't have anything to do with a number, you know? Yeah. And they can be, you know, those are achievable, those feelings, without ever even checking the scale weight or checking the number, you know?
100%. But society wraps that up as, well, this feeling that you're craving is weight loss.
Yes, especially because so much of that marketing we mentioned promises people with the weight loss, with that number, you will achieve these things. And so it's sort of our job to sort of untangle those two things so people stop equating weight loss with happiness, weight loss with health, weight loss with feeling confident, you know, because they can be untangled. It just, you know, sometimes it takes us as the professionals to sort of help do that without demonizing the desire, because I don't find that to be helpful either. Helpful. Yeah.
Ooh, okay. Here's the fun stuff. We kind of already discussed fitness marketing a little bit. We see the snatched waist, like that's the most popular thing I feel like we're seeing right now. What is your biggest pet peeve with fitness marketing? It can be a specific trend that you see. It can be anything. That's very open.
Oh, another one that really bothers me is the full days of eating with the body check. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Tell it. I know why it bothers me.
So okay, I'm not a huge fan of full days of eating in general. Like as a premise, I just don't think like the eat what I eat and you'll look like me sort of message is a positive or healthy one. But then when we add in let's start out the video with me showing my abs and then I'm going to show you what I eat in a day. It's really just hammering in that idea. Like this is what I look like, and this is exactly what I eat to look like this. If you follow this, you will also look like this. And we know that if we all ate exactly the same, we would all have very different bodies because of body diversity and genetics and numerous other factors.
No one likes to hear genetics though.
Yeah, no, they don't. So yeah, that's one that really bothers me. And we see it from fitness influencers. We also see it from just like regular influencers and celebrities. I mean, we have like the sort of most recent one is like Gwyneth Paltrow talking about her full day of eating. And yeah, so it's sort of, it even kind of, it seeps out of just like trainers and fitness professionals and fitness influencers talking about it and into sort of just like everyday sort of lifestyle and, you know, celebrities talking about their full days of eating. And then people do listen. You know, we've seen people, I'm following Giselle's diet. You know, we've been seeing this forever. And these are not necessarily people we should be taking advice from. These are not nutritionists. These are not registered dietitians. These are just people who are deciding to eat a certain way and not necessarily something we should be looking to emulate.
Yeah. And it's that same thing again of when you start to call it out, it's, oh, well, I'm just sharing my experience or I'm just sharing what I do. You're not supposed to follow it.
Right. The thing about them too is they do really well. People like that sort of content and they do well. They are very like well engaged and you'll see it. And you'll see people ask for it. I mean, you go to any popular influencer who, you know, typically lives in a smaller body and there will be people in the comments being like, drop the diet plan, drop the workout plan. And it's like, these are not professionals. These are not people we should be emulating. And we have no idea why they look the way they look, but it's likely it has a lot more to do with many other factors outside of just what they're eating in one single day.
100%. I'm sure people have asked you that before.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I've not the type of content that obviously that I share. And when I do, I've also, you know, made content calling out that type of video. And I will get people in my comments, you know, being like, oh, well, I find it inspiring. I find it helpful. And typically my response to that is like, that's great if it like helps give you ideas, but you could also follow, you know, chefs. You could follow people who post recipes and like those kind of content creators. If you're looking for meal ideas, you don't necessarily need to follow someone's exact like full day of eating.
And I think that it's so important, not only like where we spend our money, because that tells, you know, that's like influencing what we want more of, but even just what we view and who we choose to follow and who we choose to spend our time on. Because even if those full days of eating with the body checks and everything, sure, those might give you ideas, but do you really want to perpetuate that diet culture?
Exactly. I'm a big believer that like a follow and like engagement with someone is, in a sense, it's supporting them and supporting the type of content that they put out there.
100%.
So yeah, I don't necessarily like, I personally don't want to follow people who are putting out that type of content because it feels like I'm supporting stuff that I think is harmful, like genuinely harmful.
Yeah.
Even if their intent isn't to cause harm, it can be harmful.
Yes. Yes. It's this idea of like intent versus impact.
100%. And it's always shocking to me because I think it's like people are so quick to feel defensive of like, you know, if they're called out for harmful sort of content and they feel like they have to defend instead of being like, oh wow, I never thought about it that way. And you know, I think if you exist on the internet, you're going to be called out for things at different points, right? Yeah. And you can either be like, interesting, let me think about that. I've never heard that point of view, and now I'm going to like sit back with this and see if I can learn from it. Or you can be like, nope, I really don't care. I really don't care. I didn't mean it that way. So if it bothers you, I'm sorry. Like I really don't care. And I'm always shocked by how often that's the response instead of the former.
Yeah. I mean, we're all people. We're all going to make mistakes.
Absolutely.
It's not about like you can't make mistakes. It's just like learn from them, listen to people, and own up to it.
100%.
And then move on.
Yep. Again, I've been making content on the internet since like 2015, and like,
oh, so you were like in the prime of,
oh yeah, like I mean, it was a very, very different world back then, and yeah, I absolutely was posting content back in the day that I would be horrified, like horrified by now, and like you know, I did it. Like I did it, but I didn't know as much as I know now back then. I made mistakes. I learned, and now I do better.
Yeah.
Because I know better, and I'll still make mistakes, and I'll learn more. And in 5 years, I'll probably look at things that I've said now and been like, I probably could have done better, you know? Because that's the way it goes. And it's like, you know, that's really all you can do.
That's life.
Yeah.
Yeah. You look back at your 20s and you're like, ooh.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep.
I'm sure I posted something like, I don't know, like when I was 23, first making content, not realizing that like, you know, not everyone had as much time as I did about, you know, just get out there and do it, you know? I'm sure I posted stuff like that, like it was that simple.
Beyonce is the same 24 hours as we do.
I really hope I never said that. But, you know, it's like, it's all you can do is learn from it and grow and attempt to be better.
Yeah. So you work with a lot of clients, one-on-one, virtually. I want to know, what is your favorite exercise to just perfect with people across the board?
Yeah, it's got to be kind of cliche, but it has to be a deadlift for me.
It's such a hard thing for people to hinge.
It's such a hard thing, but it's also such an empowering exercise. And I work with so many women, and I think just being able to watch someone who, like, I'll have a lot of clients come in and they'll be like, oh, I'm not strong, you know? And then we work together, and then all of a sudden, like, to see them being able to like lift a bar with like 100+ pounds of weight on it and then surprise themselves with their own strength. It's like one of my favorite moments as a trainer is to like see someone like get under a bar and like lift more weight than they thought they could lift. And a deadlift is just such a satisfying move to perfect and to strengthen. And you do, like, once you do perfect it, you often like get strong so quickly in it. So yeah, that's my favorite, hands down. I also like personally love doing it myself. So I think sharing it with clients also is just like very fun.
Are you like a fan of the bar, I
do. I'm like a classic bar deadlift gal, but you know, I'll dabble in anything. If it's on the floor, I'll pick it up, you know?
So Miriam, why don't you plug yourself, where people can find you? Yeah. Go for it.
So my personal Instagram, I'm online at Miriam Fried, M-I-R-I-A-M, and then Fried spelled like fried. My TikTok is also the same. And then my business is MF Strong, and our Instagram is at MF Strong NYC, and then our website is mfstrongnyc.com.
Amazing, and I will link all of that down below. Definitely give her a follow. If you enjoy all of the stuff that I talk about, you're gonna love her content too. So thank you so much.
Thank you, this was fun.
Oh my God, that was so smooth. My goodness.
Okay, yay.
They're always like, where's Zoe though? Hi, sweet girl. Oh my gosh, she's so pretty.